Moon gang. Hello.
I hope you're having an absolutely phenomenal morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are. We're coming at you live from my basement. Hope you're having a good one. Welcome back to the best finance show on the freaking planet, in the freaking galaxy. We have some fun things to go over this morning. I was doing a little DD, if you will, on all the things playing out in the world today. And we had some things that were not so happy. Basically, the cost of coffee is going through the roof. But we do have some other interesting stories that I think you're really going to like. So before we get into the individual happenings of the equities on the screen right now, let me get you best set up for the day to expect ahead. Let's hop right into it. Dow set to rise slightly after strong earnings failed to inspire. So let's talk about the overall market. Of course, you're going to have various things always going on. People are always going to be talking about inflation. You have, political developments. We have actually some economic right here developments. Economists expect a new COVID era low of 260,000 initial claims. We're talking about jobless claims. That actually came out. We have the information. It was 268, so pretty much in line. Not really a big surprise there. But oil finally starting to take a breather. This is the cost of a barrel of oil. We were as high as 84, 85, a crazy 7-year high right there. But we're coming down a little bit as there's more pressure on our political leadership to use some of the U.S. reserves. But in terms of the overall market, yesterday was kind of a weird day. It was an inside day. I shouldn't say weird, but I should say it was a non-trending day. People just didn't really know what was going to go where. And a little bit of the red actually had to deal with Visa and Amazon. So this was announced yesterday. Amazon to stop accepting Visa credit cards in the UK. So this actually hurt Visa, and Visa is a big player in the S&P 500. So because of that, you saw a little baby sell-off in the S&P 500. But overall, the main takeaway is just the fact that it was an inside day. It was a non-trending day, and we are how much away from our all-time high right now? We are a mere 0.54% from the all-time high. In the NASDAQ 100, that actually had a better day. Visa's not in this group. So it had a nice push, but then it ended up closing pretty much at its opening. But once again, within spitting distance of its all-time high. Russell 2000, relative to the Qs and the SPY, struggling a bit more, just farther off from its high, but nonetheless did make an all-time high not that long ago. Right here, I'm looking for support to be found at 234, 235, and seeing if we could get the bounce off of that. Right now, I would say obviously we had to pay attention to this, the jobless claims. I would say the next major thing people are kind of paying attention to is any developments on the spending bill from the political front. And on top of that, from the political front, the murmurs are going back and forth. We are going to get the announcement of a new federal chairman, maybe chairwoman, pretty soon. Some people said by this Friday. Other people said by Thanksgiving. Here's how it went. It said, we'll know by Thanksgiving. No, we'll actually know by Friday. And they're like, no, never mind. We'll know by Thanksgiving. So kind of back and forth on that. We're not really sure, but somewhat between now and Thanksgiving, it sounds like we'll know if Jerome Powell will retain his position or if Ms. Brainerd, I believe I'm pronouncing that properly, will be the new federal chair. This is important. They're both on the dovish progressive side, so it's not like they're wildly different characters, but that I could definitely see having an impact on interest rates, yields, or at least the perception of where they're going to go. And then that could have an impact on the overall market. There are some important earnings that came out. Macy, Kohrs, the reason we're talking about them is because what's going on with retail? What's going on with the average person? Are they spending money? Yes or no? How is the average person, particularly in America, feeling right now? Well, I have some good news on that front. Macy's and Kohrs both beat, and they beat pretty handedly. Macy's shares surged more than 10% in pre-market, trading after the department store Thursday blew away estimates for the fiscal third quarter. Revenue also topped what analysts had. So beat, and the same with Kohrs. The department store chain Thursday also reported much better than expected fiscal third quarter earnings. Revenue also beat. So that's awesome. The other one that I was particularly paying attention to, just because I care about tech, I care what's going on, Nvidia. Nvidia is having a nice movement right now. Let me just bring this up very quickly for you. NVDA. I talked a little bit about this in my post-market wrap-up yesterday, but look at this. We closed out the day at 292. We're currently trading at 320. Nancy Pelosi is raking it in. We should all take a second to congratulate her. She is making millions of dollars off of this earnings announcement, and it's because of B, and she's just has a crazy long position on Nvidia. Nvidia easily beats earnings expectations on strong gaming and data center sales. So what you need to know was the revenue was 7.1, which beat the expectation of 6.8. Earnings per share was 117, beat the expectations of 111. The gaming revenue was 322, beat the expectations of 318. And the data center revenue was 294, which beat the expectation of 269 billion. So across the board, Nvidia beat. I do not actively trade Nvidia. I'm long on it. I love Nvidia. I think it's the gold standard of processing chips. It destroys in gaming, which is also a growing industry. It does very, very well in artificial intelligence, and it has market share to make up versus AMD and Intel for data centers. And look at that. It's actually doing that. Its revenue is coming in higher. So 3 of the main use cases of these processing chips, Nvidia is, I would define, a titan in, and when it beat across the board on all of them, that's how you get movements like this, where Nvidia is up 9% from closing till opening right now. And 9%, I don't know how much that means. Maybe that means 9 mil for Pelosi. Who knows? It's almost as if she knows a lot about the market. Cisco, on the other hand, did not do as what was expected, missed on quarterly earnings and issued weaker than expected forward guidance. So Cisco, CSCO, is actually down in pre-market right now. AstraZeneca says COVID antibody drug over 80% effective. That's from AstraZeneca. And if anyone has been paying attention to kind of like the standoff going on with John Deere, Deere workers approved contract offer will end strike. John Deere workers approve a new contract late last night, delivering 10% raises immediately and ending a month-long strike for more than 10,000 employees. On this news, obviously, John Deere stock is currently up. That's a positive development. So even though we have that positive development, I have what I would consider to be a travesty to report to you. Arabica coffee prices are the highest in almost a decade. There's a lot of things going on in this world that we could complain about. And at a certain point, as a human, you have to put your foot down somewhere. Sometimes it's just, something's just way too over the line. And right here, I mean, coffee prices soared, approaching the highest in almost a decade on increase in signs of shortage in top producers in Brazil and Colombia. Look at this chart right here. It's just up and away. The appreciation, the cost, coffee's up. It's up almost 100% right now for you to buy a cup of coffee relative to what it was before this insanity. And obviously this part, it sucks, especially if you're buying coffee. But this is truly representative of just the supply chain issues throughout the entire globe. Inflation, I mean, right now there's still about 80 cargo ships stuck in the Pacific off of the West Coast, LA, Long Beach right there. Before it was standstill and it wasn't moving. I do have some positive news there. Instead of being like standstill and stuck, they're at least moving a little bit now. They've introduced, to my understanding, new payments if you're leaving your cargo ships at the port, these cargo ships, and more so the empty containers. So because of this increased fee, people are taking them out there. So it's helping speed things up a little bit. But yeah, we have very serious supply chain issues. And this is an example here in coffee, but you're going to see it in many, many things. You see it in meat, you see it in sugar, you see it in oil, you see it in gas. Like, if you name it, it's probably running into issues right now. But I just thought it was interesting to actually put some of a quantitative analysis to what's going on with coffee. So hopefully we can all stand together and take care of these issues, because I am way too tired of paying for expensive coffee. This brings me to something that I think you're really, really going to be interested in. So I think we could all easily agree that Nicolas Cage is the best actor, not only of our time, but ever. We could also agree that his best movie of all time is National Treasure, and we can all support the sentiment of trying to steal the Declaration of Independence. We can all do that. Why not? Well, this is where it gets really, really interesting. We're going to buy the Constitution. So they're switching it up a little bit here. We the people for the people are buying the Constitution from Sotheby's. This is a Constitution DAO. And this is a story that just came across my news desk right here this morning, and I find it to be incredibly interesting. Here's what you need to know because it's going down. It's all going down today, 6:30 p.m. ET. Mark your calendar. A group of crypto investors is trying to buy an original copy of the U.S. Constitution. Donors have raised more than $23 million, and in fact, this number is actually higher. I'm going to show you what's going on there, but here's the skinny. Cryptocurrency investors are pooling millions of dollars worth of digital tokens in an effort to buy a rare first printing of the U.S. Constitution. This is all being done through Ethereum, and the group is calling itself Constitution DAO. You can find it on Twitter. And what you need to know about it: DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, a self-governance structure pioneered by crypto users to pursue a project and allow participants to vote on major decisions. It's fitting that we use this technology to honor and protect the greatest historical tool for human governance, the U.S. Constitution. This was created roughly a week ago, and they said, hey, if you want to be a part of it, if you want to donate, here's what you need to do. You go to the website, you donate, you can see that it's already over $40 million. So this is being auctioned off today, 6:30 p.m. Sotheby's, and the estimation of what it's going to go for is somewhere between 15 and 20 million. So as you can see, like this group, like there's a lot of enthusiasm behind it. It's already up to more than $40 million. And Sotheby's has come out and said, yes, if they have the highest bid opposed to these like rich people drinking their tea with their pinkies in the air, if this group can beat them out, they will honor that bid and give it to them. So you might be saying, okay, well, if they win, what's going to happen here? What's going on? Like, are we just going to rip up the U.S. Constitution and give all the people who donated a piece? No, it's not going that way. It's not that archaic. What's going to happen is if, based on your donations, you get a governance token, and based on the token you have, you're going to be able to vote. And the vote is just, okay, like, where should it go? Where should this be stored? Where should it be shown off to the public? I think it's really, really cool. The group notes that if the bid is successful, donors won't own a fractional share of the document. Rather, they will receive a governance token that will give them the ability to advise on where and how the document is displayed. At this is crazy. Not only is it just a very cool story that you're going to have kind of this group that just came up a week ago being able to buy one of the prints of the U.S. Constitution, and like, this is so much money to be raised in roughly a week. And to me, what's so cool about it, because in a certain sense, yeah, you can follow not really the nostalgic, but kind of the sentiment of like, you're putting the Constitution truly in the hands of the people. This like decentralized organization, that's so cool. Like the sentiment, I love that. But what's even cooler is this just once again, throughout this year, we are seeing the power of community. This is insane. Look at the money they can raise. The thing that they're trying to do, we're buying the Constitution and it will be governed by the people. One of the coolest things ever. So once again, the actual auction of this is today, Thursday, November 18th, 6:30 p.m. at Sotheby's. I think they're going to end up winning it. And when we get more information on this story, I'm more than happy to share it with you. But very, very cool. If you want to check it out, you can find their website and everything. Just go to their Twitter at Constitution DAO. Very, very, very cool. All right, so we have all that out there. Now let's talk about some of the individual things happening. So we know Nvidia is completely ripping. All right, let me get PROG back up there. Let me give you some of these numbers. AMC thus far today, to start today off, we have an estimated short interest of 15.3%, utilization of 72.8%. So when it comes to utilization, remember, utilization is the amount of shares on loan divided by the total loanable shares. So this number right here tells you that you have about 27% to go for it to be at max utilization. So this concept of there's no more shares to be short, that's erroneous. There's there's actually quite a few. There's over like roughly 20 million that could go out right now, based on what most prime brokers have. So when you're seeing this rhetoric of like, oh no, there's no more, what's going on, they're usually looking at a data source that's a singular prime broker. But fortunately, with something like Ortex, you get a little bit more of the full picture here. The fact that utilization is 72, 73% tells me that we have millions more to go that could go out on loan against AMC. Very important to know the data. So anyway, shares on loan, 87 million, estimated short interest, 15.3%. For GameStop, the estimated short interest is 8.7%, utilization 31, as in there's quite a few. There's millions of shares that could go out on loan, similarly to AMC, same as GME. Against GME, shares on loan 6.4 million roughly. Cost to borrow there is 1.24% and 1.21% on AMC. In terms of progenity, PROG, utilization 99.9. Not many shares left to go out on loan against PROG. 99.9, you have 0.08% more to go. Yes, that is dynamic. It does change throughout the day. People can choose to loan out more shares, or they can take their shares out of that pool. It is dynamic. It's not a hard, fast number there, but 99.9, not many more to go out on loan. Shares on loan, 35.65 million. Cost to borrow, 106%. Estimated short interest, 20.4%. And as you can see, this trend of these shares on loan, the duration of them being on loan, potentially bet against PROG, is now up to 28 days, but the trend is clearly up. And I don't think it's long before we take out whatever this record is of 36 days. So that's your kind of quantitative update. AMC, GME, PROG. AMC right now 42.25, GME 212, and then PROG we have at 475. A lot of these things, no crazy movements in these three in the post or pre-market. PROG sold off a little bit and then came back. Tesla's moving up. We know that Nvidia is moving up in pre-market. That's exciting. The last time I checked, RIVN was down. RIVN, it was dropped 15% yesterday, and it's down an additional 4%. I think this was not guaranteed, but I think it was highly expected. RIVN at one point had a market cap, a total valuation of 150 billion. The company's delivered 150 cars, as in what every car delivered is worth $1 billion. It was one of these things, and this is the thing I've been trying to explain in why I avoid IPOs, or at least attempt to, is because sometimes there's just way too much excitement and enthusiasm, and it gets pushed up to high levels, and that just simply cannot be sustained. It doesn't make much sense for a company. I like RIVN. I want RIVN to be successful. But if a company's delivered 150 cars in total in its history, should it be worth $1 billion per car? Should it really be the third most valuable automaker on the planet when compared to these other companies such as Toyota and Volkswagen that makes millions and millions of vehicles? Like it just doesn't really add up. And someone kind of made this parody right here of RIVN. This is obviously its parody. Actors hired to play factory workers, executive salaries, Ford trucks, spray paint, investment banking fees, other income, taxes, gross profit, net profit. So obviously this is a joke. It's a parody, just kind of poking fun at. Sometimes people, it's just the enthusiasm. This is so much of this is just the hilarity of crowd psychology and how some things just like get comically out of hand. Now, once again, I like RIVN. I think it's going to be successful, but is it fair to say that it's currently worth $127 billion, previously being worth $150+ billion not many days ago? Well, no, that's definitely putting like the cart before the horse there. But overall, it is fun. And that doesn't make it right or wrong. We're just always doing our best to look at the odds of the situation of will the price be sustained or not? Could it be? Yeah, that's totally possible. If the market at large decides that RIVN should stay above $127 billion, it will. It is literally, there is nothing about the company's fundamentals that like will backstop the price. It is literally the market's sentiment. If enough people want to buy it and trade it at this price, it will stay exactly there. If they want to all buy it and trade it higher, buy it, sell it at a higher price, it'll be worth more. If they want to buy it and sell it at a lower price, it'll be worth less. This entire thing, it's the house of cards of human psychology. You could take a very highly successful companies such as Apple, and if everyone on the planet unanimously decided that Apple was worth $1,000, it would be trading in total market cap at $1,000. There's nothing, and I think that's important to really articulate, especially to people who are new to the market. There's no rule whatsoever that something has to be trading at a certain value. Right now, AMC is trading at 42.32. If everyone involved with AMC in the market today decided that it was worth, instead of 42.35, it was worth 423.50 cents, like 10x, it would be trading at exactly that. That's how these things work. This is what the market is. It's what are people willing to buy and sell at. There's really not many rules beyond that. All right. So let me give you some of these 10 minutes back. I'll answer some of your questions. Next cup is on me, Matt. Happy Thursday. Shout out. Thoughts on META ETF? Its holdings are fire. Most weight is Nvidia. I don't know about Meta. I'll have to look that up. Let me write that down. The upper DAX Meta. I'll have to see what's in the ETF. Pelosi is reliving the same life and knows the results already. Seems like it. Can you take a look at Roku? Happy to. Roku. Roku, not good. Breaking down below support. It looks like the next stop is probably 220-ish. This is some weakness. It's gapping down. The support I'm looking at is 220, and below that you have 197 are the two levels I would watch. Does that mean it's going to bounce there? No, those are the levels of support that maybe it has a shot at. Just be careful. Like, this has been downtrending ever since the end of July. You're attempting to catch a falling knife. So with that, I would make sure there's actually some demand there before you start putting your own money on it. RT becoming an astronaut, shout out. I appreciate that. RIVN. Someone said RIVN rug pull, just wait on it. Very well could happen. I mean, this is exactly why I just avoided it, just because I thought people, just the excitement. People get very, very excited. That we've seen that many, many times with IPOs. It's kind of the nature of it. I remember back in 2017, that's kind of how Snapchat was like for the first day, the first week. It was just very, very exciting. People were getting super, super stoked about Snapchat. And then after enough time passed, it ended up like kind of, I guess, returning to reality and then trading in a way that I would refer to as quote unquote normal. PROG is currently at 469. It is down 20 cents from the close. Let's see if this can base and actually get moving off of there. I know some people were pointing out that this is perfectly in line with Wyckoff. I find that to be interesting. Now, I've used Wyckoff distribution in the past. I think it's a good tool. I don't think it's the end all be all. I've seen it be very, very right, and I've also seen it be wrong before. But if you're hearing more and more about that, I implore you to look into it. I do think it's a good tool. I very, very much do. I just need, I don't know. I think maybe I should make a standalone video on it the way I've done before, explaining like MACD, RSI, because that's a good technical video. So maybe we'll do that this afternoon. So for all of you who are like, what is Wyckoff? It sounds like the name of your English teacher in middle school. It is a good technical tool. And I think I should be doing that. Maybe I'll give you a quick kind of rundown just to give you the general concepts and ideas that you need to know about it. Why AMC or Tex looking so sketchy? I don't know what that means. What do you mean looking sketchy? How does data look sketchy? I'm the worst trader in both sides of the Mississippi. Do you ever do one-on-one sessions with new guys? Not really. And by not really, I mean I never have. SFT market cap is lower than expected revenue. Why? I mean, market cap, like it's gonna, revenue would be a part of it, but for example, if you run a company that brings in like, I don't know, $1 million, and also you spend $1.5 million. The market cap, like your market cap isn't necessarily like perfectly equal to your revenue. But SFT, I would have to look a little bit more into it, like their particular scenario. But I've never seen the idea that like your market cap should be based on your revenue. One-on-one session sounds kinky Kong. Hey Matt, what's your long-term stock checklist on when you decide to buy and when do you decide to sell long-term holds? So my checklist is more of, when I think of long-term, I think of, okay, what am I familiar with in this world? So my background is in technology and that's what I feel most comfortable with. And so for me, that's why I look into certain things such as Nvidia, because I'm very familiar with where that technology is used. And I like to think that I have an understanding culturally and societally, like where things such as AI, data centers, esports, where that is all going. So when I think of long-term, I think of a potentially a decade-plus trend of where are we going to be by 2030, by 2040 with things such as esports, online gambling, electric vehicles, cryptocurrency. So when I do it, it actually rarely involves technicals because it's such a long-term play. Like, what's the advantage of looking at the chart over the past month when you know you're about to be in this for a couple years? So for me, it's a bet on like a major macro trend of something. So all those things I just listed off are things that I like think are going to do very, very well by 2030, by 2040. They're already doing well, and I just think they're honestly going to do even better. Could you please tell us about your position on Tesla put and the wash rules? I don't have any Tesla puts right now. You cannot buy Tesla for 30 days. A lot of us are in the dark on the subject. No, so wash rules is more of a tax thing. It doesn't stop you from trading. It's just more of, if you sell a position for a loss and then you get back into that position within 30 days, it means that first one, you can't write it off against your taxes. That's the wash. It's tax related. It's not barring you from trading it, whether it's stock or options. It's more of its impact on your taxes, if that makes sense. It has nothing to do with letting you or not allowing you to trade something. It's all washes. And that's what you should look up. Like, if you want to find out more about this information, just like search like stock, like wash rule taxes. That's all it is. If you're in a stock XYZ and you sell it for a loss and then you buy it back the next day, that loss, that initial one, you can't use that in your taxes to like lower whatever your like net gains were on the year. They want you to wait that 30-day period before re-entering, type of a deal. But of course, with all of that, I am not a certified tax professional. Please, please, please talk to a certified tax professional to make sure you're understanding everything properly. Morning thickness. What would happen if to the bid ask if every retail holder simultaneously put their shares for a limit sale order to say 50K? If every retail tried to sell it, nothing. I mean, there might be like, you might be screwing with some algorithms that are like always continually monitoring the bid and ask. But just because you want to sell it at 50K, is someone going to buy it at 50K? Remember, every single trade has two parties, a buyer and a seller. Just because I want to sell some knickknack for $1 million doesn't mean someone's going to buy it for $1 million. You can put your AMC sell order, well, depending on your brokerage, at like whatever you want. But that, if a lot of people do it, I think you could end up screwing with some of the algorithms. But remember, that's just one side of it. Just because you're trying to sell something at a certain price doesn't mean someone's trying to buy it at that price. If buyers and sellers agree that AMC out of the gate is worth $50,000 per share, it would be trading at $50,000 per share. But you need the buyers and the sellers to agree on that. All right, I think we are $5 call on PROG expiring tomorrow. What about it, Kid Hunter? Someone said, oh, RIVN go. Does RIVN have a built-out options market yet? Hang on, the bell is about to go dingity ding ding ding. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. All right. We are 20 seconds out. 20 seconds out. Let's see what today brings us. And I just want to know if RIVN has options. If it has options. Or is it just too new to have options? Ding, ding, ding. The casino is open. It does. Okay, RIVN does have options. You have expiration for tomorrow, and you also have, what other ones does it have? Oh, it already has weeklies. 8 days, 15 days. Okay. I'm surprised that they built it out that quickly. I guess it's just that much incredible demand for it. Interesting. All right. So out of the gate, AMC 4220, GME 210, PROG 454, and then RIVN 135. Let's see how this goes. Tesla having a good day. Lucid sub 50 right now. Let's see if that could base. But Tesla up at 1,100. Nvidia, we might as well add that to the watch list over here today just because it's doing incredibly well. All right. And then let's get rid of this BGFV thing. Nvidia up 10% at 322. Pelosi clearly has her money rake ready. She has her money rake ready, folks. The money rake ready. Looks like my lotto call on PROG is not doing the best, the one that expires tomorrow, but that's exactly why with lotto calls, you bet a very small percentage of your portfolio because it's a lotto call. The chance of it working out is relatively low, so you have to play accordingly. All right. AMC 4220. Trying to swing back around right now. Let me see something about RIVN. How expensive are these options on RIVN? Let's see. RIVN, the option chain looks very weird. The 100s are, oh, it just updated. No. The 100s are more expensive than the 105s. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That's very interesting. It must just be a very illiquid market right now. Very, very illiquid. That's the only thing that would possibly explain that. Yeah. I'm trying to just see how much the open interest is, and it's just, I guess people are not, they're not digging it. All right, PROG, I would like for that to hold a little bit better. How's the market looking? So the SPY's up 0.1%, the Qs are up 0.34%, IWM is up 0.3 right now. Thoughts on NBEV? Let me write that down just so I can remember to come back to it. NBEV. And then we're also looking at the Meta ETF, NBEV. Someone said Rivian is so overpriced, real price should be around 40. I don't know about 40. I guess I would have to know like how you came to that conclusion. Thoughts on YouTube removing the dislike button? I think it is comically awful. It is so bad. It is so silly that they would be removing the dislike button, at least the display of the dislike button. They are trying to say, they're doing their best to say that it's to protect small creators. It is not. It's basically to protect these large brands such as like the White House and stuff that always get ratioed. It is like even the original creators of YouTube, basically like one of the two guys that Google bought YouTube off of, he even pointed out it's so silly. It is so incredibly silly. It's just, in my opinion, it's to protect like government brands like the White House or large media. Like those people are always getting ratioed. I don't know of a single like individual creator that's like not some just like well-established conglomerate or something like that that is okay with this. All of the people I've spoken to in at least the finance YouTube circles that I speak with, everyone thinks it's so incredibly silly. I bought 145 puts on Rivian Wednesday, expiring for 550 per con. 550 per con, already up 130%, expiring today. I don't think Rivian has anything expiring today. Probably expiring tomorrow on the 19th. Matt R. Morning, I'm late. Happy anniversary. Did I miss anything big? People are buying the U.S. Constitution, which I think is big news. I find it exciting. Let me just, I need to. What else do we have? PROG coming back. PROG bouncing off of 440. I would love for PROG to get back over $5-6. Let's see. Let's do a quick map out of Rivian. Just so everyone knows, I got some puts on Rivian. Just, I'm seeing some weakness. Let me actually get the 2 hour. I basically want to see if it's going to come down to 125, 126, 125. We kind of have this region, 134 right now. Interesting. I'm looking for this region to see if it's going to bounce off of it or if it'll be support. But yeah, I think my reasoning on what's going on here is, well, we know fundamentally it's overvalued, but we also know that sometimes fundamental evaluation doesn't matter at all. My thoughts are people who kind of FOMO'd into this and try to buy, with them now seeing red, they might start to panic. And the farther it goes, these people who got in very, very early, you just have a higher majority of people starting to panic. Remember, in the market, it is very, very obvious that fear is a greater emotional driver than greed. So if people see that their attendees are starting to disappear on this from that excitement of the IPO, we've seen this so many times with IPOs that people get in, it pushes, and all of a sudden, as their gains go lower and lower and lower, they're like, whoa, I want to protect my gains, so they just take the position. So when you have something that the public generally does agree is fundamentally overvalued, on top of the fact that I think there was people who just got suckered into FOMO buying here, I think it's reasonable. Just I'm not calling for D-Day. I'm calling for a test of 125, 126. I just see resistance, support. I'm just watching this region right here. All right. AMC, unfortunately not catching a bid, but not down by that much. It's down $1. It's not even down $1. It's down 90 cents. It's down 2% right now, bouncing off of 41. Let's see what happens there. PROG was able to hit 465. I would love for this to actually get up to 5. That would be amazing. So let's see if it can just create a pattern of higher lows and slowly but surely track its way up to that $5 mark. GME hit almost 214, currently trading at 211. How's the overall market looking right now? The SPY, look for this to get it back above 469. We might get some movement there. Qs, same thing. Looks like it wants to push 400. IWM. So we're seeing the exact same pattern in the SPY, the Qs, IWM, all sold off, but now all of them are showing a little bit of strength. Buyers are stepping in on 3 of the major indices that we pay attention to. What is the short interest currently on PROG? Roughly 20%, estimated to be at 20%. All right, RIVN, what are you going to do? RIVN's already traded 7 million shares. Looks like it's actually trying to come back a little bit with the SPY. GME 211. GME above 215 is very awesome for GME. Like that is GME. I get it. It hasn't been as exciting lately. It's had lower volume, kind of lower volatility. But if you look at it, it's slowly but surely grinding to the upside. Every day, it seems like it's settling just a little bit higher. Like the market is accepting. At first, it was 200. Well, at first, it was like 180, 185. Then we got that explosive day and we got above 200. And it just seems like slowly but surely, GameStop is like settling at a higher and higher price. 200, 205, 212. That's where we're at now. Let's see if we could get to that 215, 218 level. And then before you know it, we could have that nice technical breakout above 225. Is the additional options on PROG a good thing? Isn't that more ammo to short? You don't short a stock through options. You short a stock through stock. You can have a net short position, but the mechanics of getting puts is very, very different than actually shorting. Can what's happening in the derivatives market of options for a stock have an impact on that stock? Yeah, it's possible, but also not the way you might necessarily think it does. Like if you buy a call or buy a put, that doesn't at first have an impact on the equity, like whatsoever. Yes, you can get to a situation where you have hedging, unhedging, leveraging, deleveraging, and then to do that, that might prompt people to buy and or sell stock. That is totally possible, but buying a put is not really the same thing as just straight up shorting a stock. If you buy puts, that doesn't increase the short interest. You are not directly selling stock. It's just a different mechanism in the background. Hey, Mark, saw you mentioned AVAX yesterday and thought you might want to take a Wonderland time. I got 90,000 at 0.6% APY for staking. Yeah, so someone else was bringing up like looking into Wonderland and its connection with AVAX, and they were very excited about it. I'm hoping to spend some time this weekend to dive more into that. Hey, Matt, you're an honorable man. You small side XXX play. I loaded up to go along. METX was a trash company getting into blockchain mining. Thoughts? So I don't know much about the fundamentals of METX. When I looked at it, I believe it was a penny stock, and I'm just not a penny stock trader, so it didn't really spark my interest. I see it downtrending. Holding group, miscellaneous commercial. I mean, if it's in crypto, that is interesting for sure, but it's just, I don't trade penny stocks. Penny stocks, I'm just not good at it, so I don't do it. I've lost enough money trading penny stocks to know that it's not worthwhile to do it. Ricardo is saying PROG is a pump and dump. A pump and dump away always was. Yeah, Ricardo, you're wrong. Like this isn't an opinionated thing. This is like factual. Look, Ricardo, for you to say PROG is a pump and dump, you are factually wrong. You are factually inaccurate. You are erroneously regurgitating dumb shit that you read on Twitter and Reddit without being able to come up with your own concept or your own breakdown of the situation. PROG is not a pump and dump, like whatsoever. Like, it's just, these people, they're pissy about it. But also, my job is not to try to sway your mind. If you think it's a pump and dump, Ricardo, very honestly, if you think PROG is a pump and dump, short it. If you guys are so confident that PROG's a pump and dump, that's a money-making opportunity for you. If you feel that passionate, that strong, buy puts, go short, and see how it plays out for you. Like, truly, if you feel that, put your money where your mouth is and bet against it. That would be me, the other dude hitting you up Wonderland time. I DM'd you on Twitter because it's a very good connection for you. Yeah, I'm very interested in looking into it. Very, very interested. I mean, Avalanche, I was reading more, and the things I read were just impressive. I am already shorting. Okay, Ricardo, good luck. Good luck shorting a company that is fundamentally undervalued and has the potential of a squeeze. Got in PROG at 5:15 yesterday. Come pick me up. Jay Boogie, I hope we are coming to pick you up. I hope we are. What else do we have? Got PROG. PSU football is a pump and dump this year. It does honestly feel like that, unfortunately. The season is very rapidly getting away from us. So grateful for the sharing of your knowledge and relationship advice. Share all with my sons. Mixed results there. You have helped me increase my confidence in trading imbalances. What exports do you think we should look at? What exports do you think we should look at? What exports? So, what exports? Renee, could you follow up, just like tag one of the mods, someone like Seraphim or Jackie or whoever else is in the house right now, about what you mean by that? Like, what exports? Like, are you just talking about good, like literal, like the exporting of goods? Matt taking the hammer to Ricardo. Yeah, I just... We talk about this, and I feel like a broken record here. Folks, this is not an AMC GME channel. These people who say AMC made me, they don't know what they're talking about. It's just another thing that they take the time to just say and tweet and write without like doing a second of DD. AMC did not make me. Did it grow me? Yeah. If something made me, GME made me. There's no... That's not like a hidden secret. Like, just look at my channel. Look at where I started to get views. Look at where I started to grow. GME made me. I got bigger with AMC. But even with all that being said, this is not an AMC GME channel. This is me doing my best to articulate market manipulation and point that out. This is not... Who created the rule that you're allowed to point out manipulation, but only if it relates to AMC or GME? I didn't know that was a rule in the community. I thought I could point out manipulation wherever I saw it. I thought I could point out good trading opportunities wherever I saw them. It's super, super weird that people think you can only talk about manipulation if that's the big if it's AMC and GameStop. It's weird. It's weird. And also, okay, like, even if you just disagree with that, if you're like, no, Matt, that's what I want you to do. Okay, that's cool. Completely cool. Just know I'm not going to do it, and you might as well just like leave now. I don't know. Tesla made you, or GameStop made you, Tesla will break you. All right. Someone said, oh, it passed 215. Sweet. ARQQ thoughts. Next Gen Thought. Adam Aaron is invested in ARQQ and is the director who invested heavily with ARQQ. What's your take on these? Daily profits are booming. ARQQ, I thought he was on the board, but then this came up in the past that he was not going to be on the board as soon as it got to a certain milestone, something like that. ARQQ, I mean, I could look at the chart. It's looking good. It's actually looking very good. It just had this breakout. I don't know much about it. It's a financial conglomerate, so it sounds like a SPAC deal. You'd want to see what company they're absorbing and hopefully look into the trajectory, the fundamentals of said company. But ARQQ is just, it's a blank check company. It acquired all or some portion of the equity of some other company to bring it public. Matt, no stock made you, allowed a lot of apes to discover your channel. Just another one. I'm thankful for AMC and GME. I appreciate that, Dark Horse. Yeah, this concept of like a stock made you, like what? Oh, is Ricardo still going on acting like he knows about something that he doesn't know about? I work for a biotech company. What you believe is new and revolutionary is out since 2007, and it's Pfizer who sells it. Ricardo, you're just proving that you don't know what you're talking about. You might as well stop while you're behind, because you're just getting further behind, man. You've convinced me on PROG. Where do you see support levels? Sorry if that was answered earlier. I might have missed it. So from a technical perspective, let's take a quick breakdown of PROG. So I would say there's notable support between 4 and 415. I'm looking at this low from November 16th. Below that, there's also support at 380. So we're currently trading at 437. I would watch the region basically 380 to 316 with also, so 380 itself, 316 itself, and then $4. That's what I would personally be watching. Those are $4 is a key psychological level. 380 is a low that we saw on November 16th, and we saw additional support on that same day around 434 to see if it could base there. It's technically at support right now. That's an additional one, but let's see if it holds, because the support it's at, I don't know. I'm not seeing buyers yet today. Let's see if it can base there. So those are the levels I would watch in terms of just setting up a reasonable risk reward. If you feel like it's going to break, okay, you wait for the next one. You can cut that. You keep your risk very, very low. It's always a game of keeping your risk as low as you possibly can. But just because you keep it low, you also have to honor it. If it breaks your risk, that means you get out and you wait for the next setup. Is it true that the sky is blue? Is it because of the atmosphere? I thought the sky was blue because like somewhere on the frequency of all the different colors, blue was like scattered the easiest, right? Something like that. Can you take a look at POWW? I'm long on it, but I'm getting beat down. It killed earnings and fundamentals look great. Can you check out Vortex for me? I don't know why it keeps getting crushed. I mean, if it sold off after earnings, the earnings couldn't have been that great. If it was great, people would have bought it. POWW trades under AMMO, or that's the name of the company. The short interest is higher. It's 18.4%. Utilization 53, shares on loan 15. Let me quickly bring this up. POWW. I mean, I don't think it looks that beat down. If anything, it looks range bound, slightly higher lows, bouncing off a 6. If this can get going, I mean, I don't think what day were the earnings? The earnings were a weird reaction. It gapped up, but then sold off. That's a strange reaction. I obviously don't know what the earnings were, but I don't know if I would say this was beat down. I see an uptrend, and now it's just sideways chop. You're just kind of waiting and hoping for this breakout above $8. But the short interest is there. It's at 18%. The sky is FUD, man-made by the government. Man-made by the government. Same as birds, right? Birds are a complete government entity used to spy on us. I'm here for Kinky Khan's morning rants. I like my risks like I like my mental state high. Hey, Matt, enjoy spending my mornings with you. Check out Hood. My puts paid off big 1 day to expiration. So I know Hood just hit a new all-time low. And it is actually continuing to make another new all-time low. Currently trading at $32. At this point, the fact you're letting price discovery play itself out. I don't know how low it's going to drop. Its market cap is currently $27 billion. So $27.5 billion. So I think it could fall another $27.5 billion worth. But in the short term, the medium term, you're in a new range, you're in an untested range. You have to kind of just wait around and see how it's actually going to play out. Also, we have been trying to reach you regarding your car's expired warranty. My most embarrassing moment. I think I shared that the other day of when I was on that field trip and I thought brown cows made chocolate milk. I still think about it a lot. Roblox had a great day yesterday. And it's continuing to have a great day. Already up to 136. No, I mean, same thing. The opposite of hood, you're at a new high. Like you could do a Fibonacci breakdown to be like, okay, this is kind of like a certain percentage. But in reality, you just enjoy the open road and see where it really brings you. Matt, you are in my AirPods every day, and you have been since January. I'm up 300% in my crypto and 265% in the market. Thanks to you. You the best. Matt's plastic bag. Shout out. Are you familiar with MVI? It's a metaverse index. Could you check it? I'm not familiar with MVI, but the chart is, I don't know. I don't think it's the right chart. MVI. I don't think this is the right one. I'd hope it's not the right one. Ford and GM. So Ford actually just announced that it's also getting into the world of semiconductor creation, like such as AMD, Nvidia, Intel. Ford hit a nice high recently. It's swinging back around. The risk isn't far. You could risk $1. And maybe you'll get this breakout at 2050. Not a bad deal. But beyond car, they also have their dividend date coming up. But yeah, they announced, similar to Nvidia, AMD, Intel, that they are getting into the world of semiconductors, processing chips. And then, hang on, let me check out GM. GM's also looking very good. Actually, GM just got its breakout. Is this an all-time high in GM? GM, all-time high. So similar to Roblox, similar to Hood, but the opposite of, you just have to see if it's going to hold. I mean, it's technically still at resistance right here, but new high. That's awesome. What are some of the areas of support we're looking for on PROG? So around $4.15, $4, and $3.80 are the three to the downside that I'm watching right now. Where do I see IWM going? PROG me, baby. IWM, I have the region between 233 and 234-ish. 233 to 234.5 is the support, just as previous resistance. If it breaks below that, I'm watching 230. All right. Let me see what is going on here. Whoa, the RIVN position's already up 33%. Wow, I'm almost up $1,000 on that. I might just lock this in. Why not? I mean, if I lock it in, it just actually covers my lotto bet for PROG for tomorrow, because that lotto bet, as of now, it doesn't look like it's going to pay off in something, unless something insane happens. I might just do that, kind of use this quick RIVN trade to offset the PROG lotto. I'll let you know. Is Ricardo still here? Isn't owned 75%? They pump when they need liquidity. They can both short interest and utilize high because they own the majority. What does people say? I don't think people know what liquidity means. Ricardo, I don't think you know what liquidity means. They pump when they need liquidity. You know, liquidity is liquidity is basically really the level 2. How built out is the level 2? How many shares are trying to be bought? How many shares are being sold? A stock is liquid if you can get in and out of a sizable position easily. For example, in the housing market, it's a liquid market if a lot of houses are being bought and sold. You can trade relatively easily. Illiquid one would be like when there's not many houses being sold. For example, penny stocks, a lot of penny stocks are relatively illiquid. It's hard to create a big position and it's hard to get out of a big position. That's liquidity. How does the liquidity of one stock have anything to do with the liquidity of another stock? I'm confused. Like, a lot of people are talking about this liquidity thing and they say it so confidently. Like, they just say it. They're like, oh, this gives us more liquidity. What does that mean? Market makers are the ones who provide liquidity. Other people can too, but that's kind of like the main duty of a market maker is to provide liquidity. They're the ones who build out the bid. They're the ones who build out the ask. That's exactly why you had Citadel bragging, we're the only ones who provided liquidity in January. Like, that's their tweet. I don't, there's a big confusion on what even liquidity is. They mean capital. They probably mean capital, yeah. They probably want Jackson. I think what it is, I think it's capital. I would assume what they're referring to is capital. Like, oh, they have more money, I guess, at that point to do it, is like my instinct, but I don't know. I'm not them, so I can't really like speak for them. I'm invested in everything you're bullish on since February. Thanks for the AMC attendees, but I don't know when to get out. Is OCGN done? I like the follow smart people who don't give financial advice. Well, I don't know if I'm a smart person. OCGN. OCGN, it's at support. If it breaks below this, then you're watching 670, $1 less, but like it's at support right now. So maybe you'll get this bounce, but this is pretty brutal looking. So when people are saying pump and dump, I'm not saying OCGN is a pump and dump, but I'm saying this chart is it's a very good example of what a pump and dump actually looks like. It goes straight up, it comes straight down. This is a very good depiction. OCGN, I know that's a little bit different. This is more in the biotech world, and I think it related to some of the tests that did or didn't pass and blah, 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 related somehow to COVID. I get that this one might necessarily be that, so I'm not attacking OCGN. I'm just saying, like, the depiction of it shoots straight up, it comes straight down. Very, very different. Wildly different. Will you be my lawyer? Love watching you argue. No, I can't be anyone's lawyer. I mean, I could be a lawyer. I could do it, but it wouldn't be good. Like, if you want to hire me for my legal services, just know that you'll probably lose, being I know nothing of the law. Have you heard of EMBK, Autonomous Trucking Co., just merged with Big Dog, new to NASDAQ, not financial advice? I haven't heard of that one yet. I'll have to, let me write that down to look into it. Autonomous Trunking Company. EMBK. GGPI. So seems like GGPI is getting a little bit more interest. Gap fill to the downside. I think you're very right about that, Camille. When it goes up, the play here, how I would have looked at it, okay, it gaps up, it goes red, and it kind of danced around. But as soon as it today broke below the low of November 15th, I'd have been like, okay, that right away would have been like, can I play this gap? And the gap would have been a 95-cent gap fill. Thus far, up roughly 55 cents and trying to get this. But if it goes there, it doesn't have to bounce off of there. It could kind of start to continue even more to maybe 1166. See, I know people were asking about CEI yesterday. I mean, this is one where people, like, I guess, get mad that I won't be arbitrarily bullish on it. I'm not. CEI sketches me out. It doesn't sketch me out so much, and I'm not so confident that I'm going to short it. No way. It's just to the point that I don't get what's going on. There's a lot of back and forth on is it or is it not a fraudulent thing, a fraudulent company. I don't know. To me, when I just have that red flags, I'm not bullish on it. I'm not bearish on it. It just like, I find it to be very suspect. Hence, I'm just not going to be in it. What's going on with Disney? Disney. Apparently selling off. Jeez Louise. Well, I guess you could say it finally filled the gap. This is a good, actually, like lesson right here. It literally just filled the gap from December of 2020. So 11 months it took. That's what I said, where sometimes gaps are filled relatively quickly. Sometimes it takes a while. And now you have a gap to the upside from early November. And I think one day that gap will get filled. But people are just continuing to sell it off from its earnings. Its earnings caused the gap down, selling. I would not be trying to catch this falling knife right now. No way, Jose. Check out the new concept car, Hyundai concept car. This guy right here, is this it, Jeremy? Is this the Hyundai 7 electric SUV concept brings the future? Interesting. Kind of a cool looking car. When I searched it, there was also this one. Hyundai's is a perfect EV for a super villain. That's kind of cool. Kind of like an old school look to it. Interesting. Hey, heard a rumor of Funware merging with DWAC. Would love to hear your thoughts. They have a crypto to bring decentralized part to the media. I have not heard that rumor at all. I heard the rumor that PHUN would be doing the tech development for DWAC. I never heard anything about a merger. Charlie had another breaking tweet. I did want to share something with you. Twitter right here. What is it? Gasparino. Here we go. I don't know. Gasparino. Breaking, Florida federal judge last night dismissed the class action suit case against Citadel Securities and Robinhood, which alleged Citadel and Hood colluded to screw shareholders in GME and AMC during the meme frenzy earlier this year. Is this actually breaking news? Like, did this actually happen? Do we have any lawyers that can check if this was actually dismissed? Citadel, October 20th, has asked again Florida judge to they asked them to dismiss it, but did they actually dismiss it? Can anyone, I guess, find the court case and the actual resolution of it? Just because Charlie's saying that it's breaking doesn't actually mean that it's accurate. So if anyone that has a little bit legal know-how, if you want to check that out. But speaking of Gasparino, I wanted to share this with you.
Mark Kohrs. You know this name? You may have if you were watching Charlie yesterday. He's a longtime investor who specialized in short selling throughout his 40-year-long career. But in kind of a switcheroo, he's now an investor in AMC Entertainment, yes, the theater chain, and has come up with a very unique pitch that involves a special kind of dividend for shareholders. Charlie, after your report yesterday, you spoke with Mr. Kohrs last night.
Right.
What did he have to say?
He wanted to set the record straight on a couple things, a correction I want to issue. There was a banner that said Kohrs is said to have met with Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC, on this plan. He has not met with him. Okay. He has provided him, and I'm going to read some of this stuff off, and this is going to be a really interesting story in the next sort of couple weeks as AMC, particularly if they go for this. I mean, I don't know if they'll go for it, but it's going to be a fascinating story, and we're going to have Mark on the 23rd. He's agreed. He's traveling. As soon as he gets back on the 23rd, he's coming on. He wants to talk to you and I about this.
Oh, me too.
You too. Yeah, he wants you to moderate. So here's what we know, and I'm going to read some of this stuff, kind of like headline. He told me that he emailed Aaron a vague plan to issue a securities token as a dividend on AMC stock. Try to get your hands around it. AMC probably couldn't issue a dividend, but if you issue the token, it could have inherent value. Okay, Kohrs says the token will trade on Patrick Burns, well, the T0 platform that was founded by Patrick Burns.
Yeah, he ain't part of it now.
Yeah, the former CEO of Overstock. The purpose of the concept is to put an NFT with value into the hands of AMC shareholders, so they get something in value, the shareholders. Now, here's the secondary added, he called it an added feature, which is fascinating. It will, he believes, end the debate once and for all over whether AMC is subject to naked shorting. Why is that? If you have this dividend, right, and you've lent out the shares, right, the people that you've lent out the shares to hold shares that are essentially owned by somebody else. The broker lends the shares out, you know, in terms of a short sell. The ultimate owners, the holders, are going to want the broker to get those shares back so they can basically get the NFT, get the dividend, right? That will create this situation where people will go out.
Eliminate shorts.
Well, you'll start buying this like crazy. Now, if there's these synthetic shorts, which is these sort of wickedly open positions where there's no borrow where the borrow doesn't have to be matched or doesn't have to be completed, you will see that. So it's a fascinating plan. And by the way, this whole issue of whether there's naked shorting on AMC, whether it's controlled by dark pools, I'm dubious. I don't believe Mark is. We're going to hear him give that side of the story. I don't think it's the big deal, but Mark does. We're going to, one way or the other, we're going to find out what's going to go on here. I mean,
this is historic because you haven't seen something like this before. I mean, listen, the city of Miami issued its own token, and they are making money hand over foot.
That's different.
Of course it is. But I'm saying when you issue a token,
but let's get back to
you start to move things.
I know, but let's get back to the original purpose. Overstock did something like this, which squeezed the shorts.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Stock started trading up higher. This could be the same thing where you get a short squeeze coming out of this, which could be very painful if anybody's really short. Now, we should point out, it's only 17% short interest, not huge amounts. I mean, it's not 100%. But anyway, it's going to be interesting next Wednesday.
Okay. Everybody tune in next Wednesday. I will moderate, and I will keep them apart. Hope I don't get punched in the middle.
So I wanted to share that just so more people know, because this came out yesterday and we listened to it. I'm a little confused. I misspoke. I think they misspoke. So they keep saying the 23rd, but then they said Wednesday. So I don't know, because Tuesday is the 23rd. So I don't know if it's Tuesday the 23rd or Wednesday the 24th. I don't know which one's right. Like right there, they said the 23rd, but then they keep saying next Wednesday. I don't know which one it is. It's either Tuesday the 23rd or Wednesday the 24th that Mark Kohrs will be coming on and speaking with Gasparino. It is one of them, but right there's a little bit of confusion about like what day is important for us to like be listening to that. If I had to guess, it'd probably be Tuesday the 23rd, not Wednesday the 24th. Little bit of confusion there, but anyway, something to pay attention to. And the one thing I really wanted to get across here was with Overstock when he was saying, oh, like we did this dividend thing and it caused it. Well, it caused movement because they found out that something illicit was going on in the back end. The dividend itself didn't represent demand or buying power or anything like that. It was saying, hey, no, we actually figured out something going on that should not be going on. So to me, I think the way that narrative was just pitched by Gasparino was a little bit off. It wasn't like it was some inappropriate, erroneous play on the part of the Bulls to do it. It was more of like, no, we want to know if all the shares are legit. The shares weren't legit. And then because of that, you saw a buying frenzy to try to cover up the mess. And then inherently it squeezed out the shorts. It wasn't like just some of the connotations of that I found to be particularly interesting. But anyway, it's probably Tuesday the 23rd, not Wednesday the 24th. But right there, they said the 23rd and kept referring to Wednesday. So a bit of confusion. But anyway, we're going to find out all of that. And I also want to let you know, I was speaking with Mark, and there are some very legitimate questions. So what's going to happen about like this whole registering, getting these tokens, these security tokens that represent the shares? Very fair for you to have questions. How's it going to work? What is the possibility? How could this all play out? All of that stuff. So right after the interview, most likely on Tuesday, I'm going to put out a tweet. Mark's going to put out a tweet. And what you can do is share all like your concerns. What are your concerns? You can follow up on the Twitter in that comment thread. And then I'm going to take all the questions, especially the ones that like people are asking the most. And I'm going to do a follow-up interview with Mark of saying, hey, here's this question, here's this question. And I'm just going to ask him all of your questions point blank, opposed to him having out individual tweets, going to individual space calls. The concept is for us to have like one video that you can find all of the major questions being answered about anything related to how this is playing over in the world of NFTs, just so everyone knows. But so look for that to come after the interview with Gasparino and Liz Clayman. Also, one thing, and this is very, very small, but I still find it incredibly confusing. He said, Gasparino, I think the quote was, he saw a banner that Mark Kohrs spoke with Adam. What does that mean? He saw a banner. He saw a banner that Mark Kohrs spoke with Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC. And that was like his, I guess, like journalism. That was like his form of investigation. What does that even mean? He saw a banner? I just don't get that. Banner on the bottom of a screen, on the bottom, like a new, so like a Fox banner. Like he saw a banner at Fox that said Mark Kohrs spoke with Adam Aron. Like that's a crazy banner to have. Yeah, but like why would, if this is a news banner, why would that? I've never seen a banner that said, what a weird banner to have. Just so you know, Mark Kohrs has spoken with Adam Aron. I'm very, very confused about what this banner is. Banner is the lower third animation ticker on news. But that's what I'm saying is like, how is that ever news? Like, why was it news that someone just put up there? That it just seems weird to me. But why? Yeah, like I see what you guys are saying that like, okay, banner is like the lower third on news. But my question is, I don't think that was a banner. That's what I'm trying to call BS on, because why would that have ever been banner worthy? Person we've never spoken about before, Mark Kohrs, until now, has spoken with Adam Aron, CEO. Like that's not banner worthy. I just, I'm confused about it. So, I mean, I think my point of what I'm getting to is the thing that I think you already say, like we all kind of know, is like he didn't confirm anything. But to me, I'm almost getting to the point of that statement of, oh, I saw it on a banner. I want to say, oh, just show me the banner then. Because that's the point that I'm trying to say, like, it sounds like a straight up lie of like, oh, you saw it on a banner? Okay, where's that banner? Like, show me the banner and I'll believe it. OCGN zoom out. Is it still a pump and dump? I never said OCGN is a pump and dump. I was just trying to illustrate the chart. I was saying that's what a pump and dump, like just from a charting perspective, would look like. I'm saying that this isn't a pump and dump. I know there's like legitimate patents related to vaccines with OCGN. Like a pump and dump is where people are literally buying because they know other people are buying, and everyone together is intentionally buying something up, and then it's just kind of a race to the bottom when they all start selling. I did not call OCGN a pump and dump. I'm saying from a depiction, this is like what the chart would look like erase the ticker, erase the name of the company, and it's just more of people, they buy up and then they quickly sell off. I'm not saying that this is actually what occurred on OCGN. I'm just using this like as a graphical depiction. I know there's actually things going on with OCGN that make it a legitimate company. What else do we have? LGVN. What is LVGN? LGVN. LGVN. Is this the right ticker? LGVN. Not coming up. Oh, here we go. Whoa, what happened here? Another biotech one. I'm assuming some sort of announcement or something. There has to be news that caused this craziness. PROG finally getting some bounce in here. PROG would love to see it above 434. Would love to see it right here back up to the 440s basically. AMC, hopefully this can hold 40. 40 is key support on AMC. Let's see if it can hold there. And then GME, we know we have support around 208-ish. But what would you do with an AMC 40 call tomorrow? I'm currently down 70% on them. Thanks, brother. Much love always. I don't know when you got, like, I guess I don't know your trading plan. I don't know the size of your position. I don't know your thoughts on it. I know it expires tomorrow, which I don't know when you got into it, but it sounds like you got a bit chasey with too short of time. It's easier for me to give my own opinion on your trading plan if you, like, let me know what your trading plan was. I don't know how long you've been in the play. I didn't know what your like goal was for it. I guess I have like more questions, unfortunately, than I do answers for you. And I know it's tough to fit some of this stuff just because you're capped at how many characters you can get in there. Like, I definitely understand that sometimes it's tough to get across a complex thought. But with 40, I mean, when you're asking about an option that's expiring the next day, there's a lot of luck and randomness. I don't know what's going to occur with AMC from now until 4 p.m. tomorrow. There's a lot of randomness involved in that. Someone says Cardano keeps bleeding. It's at $1.80. I'm still holding my Cardano. I very much am. Sheeb at 43, Solana 196, Ethereum 4,100, BTC 48 or 58.5. Richard becoming an astronaut. Shout out. Shout out, shout out, shout out. What's going on in the overall market today? GME dipping, SPY dipping, Qs dipping, IWM selling off. This is not, today's action is not related really to an individual stock. We see days like this, and I think this is where people have to realize that individual equities, that's all they are. They're individual equities. This is a $50 trillion entity, the stock market. There are big things that go on. This is not AMC individually being attacked. This is not GME individually being attacked. How do I know that? Look at the market. The SPY being sold, Qs being sold, the Russell, which directly relates to AMC, being completely sold off. There's an erroneous thought in this community that literally everything that happens relates to AMC and or GME. People see crypto taking an entire hit, and then the assumption is like, oh, they did that because like AMC or GME are talking about crypto. No. That's, the tinfoil hat is definitely on too tight with that thought. You don't sell off an entire multi-billion-dollar downtrend when you're talking about a billion-dollar company. Like, we see downtrends in the overall market, in the overall crypto market and market that is multiple times larger than AMC and GME combined. And people are like, oh, you just did that to hurt AMC and GME. If they wanted to hurt AMC and GME, they would directly short it, and you would see the utilization trend up to 100%. What are you thinking with LRC right now? I'm reading only good things, but we keep going down. Well, LRC, I think, is a good example of the way AMC is like one entity. Well, the LRC is one crypto, and you see all of crypto selling. A lot of these things, they kind of move in concert together. Sometimes a lot of stocks sell off together. Sometimes you see a lot of crypto selling off together. It's the opposite of a rising tide raises all ships. A lowering tide lowers all ships. That's what's going on in my estimation. I mean, you see right now BTC getting hit, Ethereum getting hit, and then you see individual smaller market cap cryptos also being hit. It's not too far off from the Russell completely getting hit, and that's inherently dragging AMC with it. I have a question for all of you, and I think this is an important question. It came to my attention, and this is new to me because I feel like my entire life has, over the past year, has been AMC, GameStop, Apes, what's going on. It was brought up to me a day or two ago that someone thinks like a core thesis of what's been going on is that we're looking for the entire market to sell off, and that would be good for AMC and GME somehow. They think a sell-off would trigger the MOAS, and as if like that was the core tenet of what we're always looking for, of like we want the market to take a hit because we think that helps AMC or GME. I never thought that. I never thought a core aspect of what we're doing is looking for the overall market to sell off. Because look what's going on right now. AMC goes down. IWM's going down. Q's going down. SPY going down. They don't seem to be inversely related at all. The days IWM sells off, it seems like AMC also sells off. So to hope for a market crash, it feels like it's going to drag AMC and GME with it because people are getting scared and they're moving risk off. But I was on a space call and someone was speaking so confidently. They're like, oh no, this entire time, that's what we've been going for. We want the market to sell off. That's what we've been arguing. I was like, I've never said that. Trey's never said that. I don't even read that on Twitter or Reddit. And it just, at a certain point, I guess I found it a bit surprising. I was like, this is like a whole new thing that I just don't get it. Like, they're going together. Like I don't know what else to do. Like I don't know. People are attempting to point out beta, but that is such a poor explanation of what's going on right now. If you look at AMC's 1 year beta, it's a -7 value, but that is not appropriate to use whatsoever. I don't think it's appropriate to use beta on AMC or GME. I don't think it matters at all. If anything, you could use AMC if you're comparing it to the Russell, but to compare AMC to the S&P 500, or really to compare any like ape moon stock that's a potential squeeze candidate that's had an insane year already, trying to compare that to the S&P 500, it's just a poor connection. I think people are looking for patterns that it's just not appropriate to compare those two data sets. Market crash equals shorts losing money all around to cover margin call. No, if the market crashes, that means shorts are making money. Remember, shorts wanted to go down. Roasted caffeine piss. What does that mean? Market crash equals shorts losing money. A market crash means shorts making money. Shorts want it to go down. Especially if you're just generically short on the overall market, that's how they make money. If you're short on the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, the Qs, in a crash, you make a lot of money. So how would that give them a margin call? It doesn't make sense to me. This narrative has been around all year. You and all the rest of them have grown up with the ever-changing ways of the market. I don't know what that means. Market crash equals no collateral for short positions have to be bought back. They already put up the collateral to get the position. So that doesn't make sense. They gave the money already to the broker. They had it. And in fact, the lower things go, the farther they are from the risk point. I think there's like overall a lot of people are very confused. on like how this all interplays together. But just for the new people who are listening, if things sell off, if they go down, that's how shorts make money. The further something goes, the less pressure shorts feel. When things go high, that's when the pressure builds against shorts. When things go down, like today, if someone were to have shorted the Russell 2000 this morning, let's say you shorted it early at 9:34. Well, on this swing back, you felt pressure because you were going from being a little bit in the green to going a little bit in the red. But then as it sold off, the pressure released on you. And then as it continued to sell, you felt better and better and better because your risk point is all the way up here. So the further it sells off, the less pressure you have, because this is how shorts make money when things go down. This one, I mean, it's, if anything, I'm frustrated at myself in this because this is an important concept that I feel like I guess I just have not articulated well enough, because like more people should be understanding the mechanics of it. Am I going to be able to explain it and get the point through to everyone? No, I understand that. But the amount of confusion I see around this, it's like I'm frustrated at myself because I feel like I haven't explained it properly. What else? All right. Someone know what they are saying is the margin calls that AMC and GME shorts will endure will cause the market. They wouldn't endure margin calls though. That's my entire point. If it's going in their favor, you don't get margin called. You get margin called when things move against you. So right here, no, what they are saying is margin calls that AMC and GME shorts will endure will cause the market to crash. Okay, you're saying the margin calls, the crash will be prompted by AMC and GME. I don't see that happening. No. I don't see that happening because, and my reasoning for this is the size of the companies. I see what you're saying here. This is slightly different. You're saying the shorts being margin called will cause the market to crash, as in AMC and GME go up, the shorts get squeezed, and then that event causes the entire market to crash. I see what you're saying there, King. I disagree with that because once again, the market is a $50 trillion plus entity. AMC currently has a market cap of 21 billion, and GME currently has a market cap of 16 billion. So we're talking about $36 billion. So the margin calls are obviously not going to exceed the overall value of these companies put together. I don't see a $36 billion combination like causing the entire market to crash. With that being said, it is a bit different when you... Honestly, that's not the best way to think about it. Hang on. Let me take a step back here. The market crash, I don't think is actually directly related to... Let me think of the best way to like actually explain where my mind's at on this one. It's going... If things go kaput, which they could, I personally think we weren't far away from that in January. It's going to relate to the collateral at the DTCC. So what you would want to know is the run up in both or one of these stocks, one of these equities, AMC or GME. You would want to see that run up and somehow then do the math associated with the collateral that they already have stored at the NSCC. And if we exceed that collateral amount, that's putting pressure on the clearing corp. And if you have pressure on the clearing corp, not necessarily a whole market sell off, you just could potentially see additional wonkiness of when they take away the buy button and that type of stuff. So I don't think it's as simple of an argument of to say, oh, if we have this, we have a margin call and that screws people over. I think the systemic risk is actually at the clearing corp if they don't have the collateral to cover all the position of all the new buyers. I don't think it's as simple in any way of just saying, hey, this margin calls it, and if hedge funds fail, hedge funds failing don't bring the market down. I would say the risk we would look at is the gains exceeding the collateral stored at the NSCC. I think that's the risk to the overall system here. Hey man, thanks for being such a champ, especially to us unsophisticated investors. Can you check ATNF? Been waiting for the trial data for months and it's finally going to be released on 12/1. I mean, I could look at the stock, but when you have trial data like that technicals don't really matter then. Either it's going to go in its favor or it's not going to go in its favor. 180 Life Sciences Corp. $5. I would look for the technical breakout above 5, but once again, this would not be a technical play. They mean to say hedge funds will lose money in a crash, not shorts. They are referring to hedgies as shorts. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the point of where we need to... I see that slight confusion there. So, like, obviously there's hedge funds who are short these equities, but then there's also hedge funds who are long these equities. So we need the clarification. Are you referring to, like, hedgies in general, or hedge funds that are short, or hedge funds that are long? Because if things go south, let's say a market sell-off is event number 1, that could put pressure on people who are long AMC and GME, and if they want to cut it, well, if they've been loaning out their shares, they're going to recall their shares. And at that point, you have to look at the percentage of, okay, who's actually loaning out the shares? Is it these hedge funds, or is it, like, what percentage is the hedge funds who are long? And this is where it just gets complicated because you have various things. So in scenario 1, the market sells off first. Let's just say the overall market. Let's say you have these big players such as BlackRock, such as Vanguard, who are long on AMC and GME, and they might want to sell, but for them to sell, they have to have the stock to sell. And if they've been loaning it out, they have to recall the shares from the people they loaned it out to, and the people they loaned it out to would have to buy it back. So that's, in a weird way, it's still a certain type of a race, because we know that they're buying it back, but as the shorts are buying it back because they have to give the shares to the original owner. So they're buying it back, but then the original owner is selling it. So it's more of, if they're calling these back for ownership, if they start to see it move, are they just going to sit? Or is the buying going to quickly be outdone by the selling? My point in saying this is just one scenario. And in one scenario, it's already ungodly complicated. And it's going to come down to timing. So let's say scenario number 2 is AMC and GME, let's say, disconnected from the overall market. They start to move. I don't see systemic risk from the point of just the gains. I do indirectly from the pressure it could put on the NSCC if there's not enough collateral there. And that's exactly what happened in January. I am not pulling this part out of my ass. I'm literally saying that's exactly what happened in January. GameStop ran so much, Robinhood didn't have the collateral at the NSCC to cover it. They now have, on a proportionate amount, they have more collateral. But if it runs a lot, if AMC and GME happen to both run, I could see their collateral getting blown out of the water. That's a possibility. The fallout from that, as of now in the current system with what they're allowed to do, if this were to happen again, I would bet that major brokers would once again remove the buy button. Right now, that rule has not changed. I believe it's Einstein who said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Right now, if we get to the point that AMC and GME move so much and present a collateral risk to the clearing corp, my expectation is that the same thing would be done. Those individual brokers that don't have the collateral would stop the buying and would try to, as quickly as they can, try to raise additional capital. But once again, this is all an assumption. These are rare events. We don't have much procedure that's at least publicly known. The DTCC and the subset of the NSCC, their risk models are not known to the public. So we don't know what numbers this would or wouldn't occur at because those are not publicly known, which is kind of the insanity of the situation. So a lot of this scenario, we can get an estimation of where we're going. But really, if you think about it, just the borderline infinite amount of variables that are known, we're kind of just winging it. We're winging it. So for people to confidently say that, like, oh, if these go, the market crashes, or if the market crashes, that will trigger the MOAS. Either way, either direction, that's you're making a lot of assumptions. That's an incredible amount of assumptions, and it could play out that way. But to be so definitive and confident that that's like exactly what's going on, I just don't see it that way. T2 settlement after recall when the longs would be able to sell. The longs can trigger a recall. You don't have to wait 2 days. If you're at a brokerage and you own stock X and you loan stock out, or like the broker loans it out, if you want to sell it, the broker has to give it back to you that day to sell it. You don't have to wait a 2-day delay. Thesis is that the shorts get margin called on their long position in other stocks, so they lose money on their long position but gain on the short. I mean, that's possible, but then that's just different per hedge fund. Like some hedge funds are long only, some are short only, some are a mixture, some have calls, some have puts. There are a myriad of different ways for them to hedge what they want, and there's not going to be like one consistent manner in which they all do it. Diamond Dallas Page, hey man, I haven't been here in a couple weeks because I had another baby. Congratulations, that's so awesome. It was a boy and we named him Knox Danger Baron. Nice to take a little break. Diamond Dallas Page, Knox Danger Baron. That's so exciting. That's so incredibly exciting. I hope you, the new baby boy, the wife, I hope everything is great, happy, healthy. Congratulations. Matt, they're confusing owning shares in a stock and dropping, then getting margin called. They think that the shorts the same as owning stocks, mixing the two together. Yeah, there seems to be some confusion in like who owns what and who's at risk of getting called. And like I said, with it, you can follow certain trains of thought, but if anything, I hope I've just illustrated that, like how many different unknown variables are involved, and it's hard to make some of these assumptions as like fact. It's like, okay, that could happen, and if that happened, well, then you have this many options, and if you take one of those random options, well, then this could happen. It's a lot of guesswork. It's a lot of guesswork. Congratulations, much love, fam. Shout out Transparency Project. Can you look at KZT, the short interest on KZT? Ortex doesn't have it. I don't know what. Hang on. Why is this not even KZT? I don't think this trades on any of the US market, so Ortex doesn't have it there. What else do we have? Hey, Mark, what can cause a margin call? What causes a margin call is basically the broker sees that your account value, your capital drops so much that they are worried about you as a risk. So anyone can get margin called because most of us are on margin accounts, as in not many people are using cash accounts. So a margin call is prompted when the broker perceives you to be too much of a risk, and you become too much of a risk by your account value dropping too much based on your current positions. All right, PROG is looking good. Wait, where's Ricardo? Ricardo, are you still in here? Ricardo, Mr. I'm going to short PROG. That has to get awkward, right? Does dark pool trading hurt option volume? All options trades are done on a lit market. All of that is fully accounted for. That's kind of, there are structural differences between equities trading and options trading, and all options trades are done in the public. Your Tesla trading is automatic margin call. Exactly. Hi, I'm heavily invested in AMC and Xcla. Could you take a look at Xcla? I don't know how to read charts. Xcla. Xcla just looks like it did a gap fill for the second time. It previously did it, and we're at support. If it can't hold 150, it looks like it could come down to 122. Overall, I see a bearish trend. I just see lower highs. This thing is like slowly but surely selling off. Every single time it gets a little pump upward, it's kind of like a bouncing ball. Like the ball is bouncing lower and lower each time. I just don't see many buyers on Xcla. But also, you definitely, I mean, there's great free resources on this. Like if you're engaging in the market, spend 2 hours tonight watching as many chart reading videos as you can, or watching as many chart reading videos as you can on YouTube. You don't have to spend a dime. You can find hours and hours and hours of content. If you're putting your own hard-earned money like at work, like, or at risk, you got to dedicate some of your own time to like have a better understanding of what you're doing. Hot coffee, cold pizza, Matt calling out clowns. What a morning. What's going on, Ken? Pros and cons of using a cash versus a margin account. So with a cash account, you're going to have to wait for settlement to go through. So let's say you have an account of value X, and you make some sort of trade. Well, you don't get to use that value, whatever that proportionate value is, until the trade actually settles. Well, a margin account, that's why it's called margin, because you can reuse that money instantaneously, and while you're waiting for the settlement to go through, you're basically like using that same X amount of money from the broker. I use a margin account. I have used a cash account in the past. I just don't like using a cash account. If you're in any way more of an active trader, a margin account is probably going to be what you want. But with that, on a margin account, they can obviously like loan out your shares and stuff. So if you don't want your shares loaned out, you have to make sure to turn that off. There are pros and cons to both. Obviously, the most popular type of account is a margin account. Most people are using a margin account because they don't want to wait for the trades to settle. If you want to make another trade, people don't like waiting 2 full trading days. But then you have to consider certain things like, okay, the risk of being margin called. Are you battling with pattern day trading, which is a margin thing, not a cash account thing? Your share loaning. I don't think one's obviously better. I wouldn't say one's better because it depends your background, what you're attempting to do. But I would say that margin accounts are more popular. Day trading limit does not apply to cash accounts. Pattern day trading is for margin accounts, but also with cash accounts, remember, you have to wait inherently 2 days for settlement to be able to use that money anyway. So they both have kind of they have different but strange, distinct like timing issues. Day trading does not apply to cash accounts, but if you use up your money, then you just have no more money until the settlement cycle ends. Matt, if you saw my approach to trading, you would projectile vomit. KZR. All right, let's look up KZR. Okay, this one's on the NASDAQ. This has a short interest of 30%, a utilization of 4.5, shares on loan of 1.17 million. Interesting. How could it have such a low utilization but such a high short interest? That's crazy. And it's a low float stock. Huh. All right, PROG looking good. PROG fighting back. The RIVN, if anyone, I still have those RIVN puts. I announced it when I got into it this morning. As of now, I'm up 75%, which means I'm up 2K flat. I have 5 puts and I need to close the trade today because it expires tomorrow. I got the 132 puts that expire tomorrow. I did at the money early this morning when the luster, the excitement of RIVN started to die off. But this is the support. I'm just bringing up RIVN right now because early this morning, I told all of you that I was looking at 125, and the game plan for me right now is to see if this holds. It is clearly at support. Let me go to the 2 hour. It might be easier to see. See how many times resistance, support, support, support. If I see any form of demand, I will lock in my trade. I am not like beholden to holding this thing until kingdom come. I'm trying to be smart with it. I'm trying to make some money back on my Tesla trades, basically. I want to see if it can catch itself at 125. If I see people starting to buy it, I lock in my tendies. I'm just watching it very, very closely. I'll be watching the MACD, see if there's any turnaround. It's at my profit target. I'm going to give it a little room to breathe. If people panic and it sells off, okay, I might be able to benefit from that. But if people start to buy it, I'm going to lock in my trade and I'll pay off my PROG YOLO call. But I mean, these are the fun days. I rarely day trade, and this, for me, where I come from, my background, that's a $2,000 gain in an hour and 20 minutes. That's insane. That is conceptually, verifiably, absolutely ridiculous. Matt, I think you're trying to distract us from your future investment in condos and tulips. Only if it's a Mormon-based condo. Oh. This is, someone said Ricardo's back. Ricardo, what's going on, man? I told my completely real girlfriend I would ask this for any of you, especially if you happen to be like a real estate person. The duck boy here is looking to get out of Philly for the winter. So if you know like a cool like beach rental place in like Florida, Charleston, Virginia Beach, something like that, like a beach rental for the winter, drop a DM. I'm definitely looking to get out of Philly for the winter. So if you know a place that could be of interest, or if you're renting a place out, or if you're a real estate agent that's trying to get one out, I'm trying to get out of here. Something like January, February, March, April. I would love to crowdsource this effort, especially if you're trying to, I don't know, get a place rented out. Someone said Virginia Beach is cold. How cold is it? I just want to live by the water. I want to live by the beach, the water, or when I say I want to, I actually mean that's what my completely real girlfriend has told me. So I've been told that Naples is awesome. Obviously, you have Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Charleston's great. Virginia Beach would be cool. Basically, the Gulf or an East Coast 3 to 4 month rental. If that's something that you're trying to get off your books and rent it to a duck boy, drop a DM on Twitter. Let's chat. People are saying they're hating on. And to clarify, I am in no way sold on a particular, just a beach, just water, something like that. Duck Boy needs water. Did I see Gasparino's latest tweet? Let me check this out. Charles Gasparino. A statement from Citadel Securities on dismissal of meme stock manipulation case by federal judge. We are pleased that the court agreed that there is no bias for the plaintiffs, conspiracy theorists, and summarily dismissed the case. We are pleased that the court agreed that there is no basis for the plaintiffs. Judge orders to dismiss the case. Too small, I can't read that. Oh, golly. Hey, Rivian, what did I say? Sometimes you gotta lock in them 10 Ds. You gotta lock in them 10 Ds. I'm watching you, Rivian, playing with my heartstrings at 128. PROG, beautiful bounce. Whoever got in at 394, congratulations, because you were able to ride that up all the way to 446 currently. AMC bouncing off of 4020, currently at 4060. GME bouncing off of 209, around 211 right now. Who do we have? Rivian, what is she gonna do? Are people gonna buy this dip? Let me drop to the 3 minute, or maybe, I guess the proper verbiage could be increased to the 3 minute. All right, here we go. Here we go. What other questions we have? I live in North Miami Beach. I'm an agent. I Airbnb my apartment. Lived in St. Pete 2 years prior. It's slightly better for young professionals. They both offer a lot. Sent you DM. Trace fit. All right, I appreciate that. These names are so ridiculous. Where'd you get your condo? Oh, I rented off of Trey's Spit. Oh man, it's too funny. Thick arm wrestling competition fundraiser, you and Review Dork. His arms are considerably larger than mine are. I don't think it'd be much of a competition, honestly. His arms look like not just a little bit, but bigger than mine by a discernible degree. You know what? Let me share a little story with you. Should I share this story? Something happened to me yesterday. I guess I'll just share it at this point of a lead-in. So yesterday, when I got done with the wrap-up video and everything, I was like, oh, go to the gym. And I didn't have much time, so I was like, oh, let's just crush the stair stepper. And I did 200 flights in less than 30 minutes. Like I came in at like 29:50. That's how, when I know I'm going fast, if I can get 200 flights in less than 30 minutes. And what was weird about it was I had some like glitches on the screen and it disappeared. So I don't mind that. Sometimes I like out of sight, out of mind, where I'm not watching what like stairs and everything I'm at, where I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll just listen to music. And it was one of those things where I thought I had listened to a lot of songs. And I thought, like, I mean, I was drenched in sweat. Like, my pomade was in my eyes. My eyes are screaming. I'm like, ah. And, like, it was all going south very, very quickly. Very quickly. And I'm dying. And I'm like, oh, man, like, you've listened to so many. Like, you have to be close. Like, I was like, you're going to turn this thing over. It's going to be at 28 minutes. You're going to be super close. Just end it out. I click back on the screen, and I just passed 22 minutes. And I was like, no, like I was dying. I was like, I don't know if I could do this. Like I was only 60% of the way, 70% of the way. I was like, I don't know if I could do it. But I know if I don't, I'm not going to be thick Kohrs anymore. Like if I don't keep doing the stair stepper, before you know it, I'm going to be able to fit my legs into jeans, and no one wants that. I mean, let's be honest with each other. A core pillar of my brand is the fact that my legs don't fit into jeans. Like that's why a lot of you listen to me for fashion advice. You're like, hey, I like those thick legs, man. Like I don't want normal size, like jean fitting, like I guess fashion advisors. I get that. So it was because of all of you that I had to keep going. I was like, Matt, like you don't want your jeans to fit and you can't afford another pair of skinny jeans. That's going to become problematic. So I kept going. I kept trucking. And I get it. I come in right under the wire. I'm like just jamming out. I'm listening to like T Swift's new album, like all of her like freaking 10-minute like long songs. Like I'm just jamming out. T Swift gets me over the finish line. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel. Like you're supposed to have fun when you turn 21. That's how I felt about it. I was like, you're supposed to have fun when you hit 200 flights. Like where she was coming through with that heartbreak from Jake Gyllenhaal and what her dad was saying to her when she turned 21, I felt that emotionally when I was getting through on the stair stepper. To the guys listening right now, you're going to say, what is he talking about? But to the girls listening, hey, I'm right there with you. I'm culturally relevant. But this is where my story takes a turn for the worse. I don't know how to say this, but I was tired. I was tired. And I sat down on the stair stepper. Like I put it in because, of course, record breaking. I put in ape. I typed that down. I was like, man, you're beat. So I was sitting on the stair stepper and I was just collecting myself. And when I got up, and I wish I was joking, I wish this were true. I stood up on the stair stepper, and in that event, my organs were to a certain degree distressed. And out of no bodily control of my own, I thought I farted. I thought that is what I wish happened when I stood up off the stair stepper. Like I said, no control of my own. This isn't even one of those ones where you're an adult and you're like taking a risky fart and you know where it's gonna go. Yeah, you guys know where this is going. And let's just put it this way. We don't need to get into the gore details of this, but this is the fourth time in my adult life. Fourth time I've shit myself in public. Not public. I've shit myself in places I should not have shit myself. Oh, the stair stepper, it brings out a lot in you. It brings out a lot in you. I like to say that. Are you even really an adult if you haven't like crapped yourself over the age of 18? Like, we all have those stories. So, I don't know if I'm allowed back at that gym. I don't know the rules on this type of thing. It was a whole debacle. Whole debacle at the gym. What else do we have? Also, Ape Shop, dude. Thick sharts. Matt got liquidated. Someone just follows up. Come to Naples, Florida. You'd fit in. Naked sharts? Yeah. You blew up the shorts, and now the internet. You're young, it'll happen again. Hey, Matt, did you fart? Yes, some of it was. I just take my stair stepping very seriously. I hope this story expresses to you the effort I put into not being able to fit into my jeans. Someone brought up a good point. This is practice. It's just practice on how to blow up shorts. I don't know. Are your other creators out there? Are your other favorite followers or Pico influencers? Do they put in this dedication? Day in and day out, all I think about is blowing up shorts. It's just, that's what I do. It's so inherent to my being that all I focus on no matter what I'm doing, is how can I blow up shorts? Just anything that relates to it. That's it. Switch gyms. Screams in the mirror, you're supposed to have potential. CafeDeCastillo.com. Last March, learned a lot from you, was able to take profits to enhance our business. Thank you so much. Shout out Cafe de Castillo. I'm a truck driver. I'm 27. It happens. Kohrs crab shorts. New short line for Christmas. So much fun. So much fun. Well, what do we have? Blows up shorts is what he does. What else do we have? All right, folks. Well, on that note, I hope you can use that story to think to yourself, no matter how bad your day is, it could be worse. Use my daily actions as a bearing, a relative rate of, you know what? At least I'm not mad. I think that's why I wanted to share this with all you, because a lot of you right now, you might be like, my day already sucks. I'm about to have a crappy day. Whatever's going on, just understand, no pun intended, crappy day. It could be worse. I want to share that with all of you, just to, if that story resonates with any of you, just to know, like, hey, it could be worse. I'm happy to help you out. I'm happy to share that. Happy to share that. In college, I was a pizza driver. I shit myself while delivering pizza. I even rang the doorbell and had to run away. They never got the pizza. Too much fun. Too much fun here. All right, folks. I will be back for Power Hour, back at 3 p.m. ET. Just so everyone knows, I will be back. I'll catch you there, and we'll have some fun. Whatever you're doing, please know your day could be worse. Whatever your trading plan, stick to it. No for me. If RIVN, if it gets buyers, I'm going to cut my position. If it breaks down below 125, I will hold my position. That's my current trading plan with RIVN, just so everyone knows. Thank you for the support. Thank you for this being a safe place where I could share some of the downfalls in my life with all of you. I truly appreciate it. I'll catch you at 3 p.m. Eastern. As always, for me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.